Back here with you today. It's like I'm having trouble connecting again. Well, hey guys, it's good to be back here and welcome again to our second live church event here. And I just wanted to start off by sharing with you guys a little bit that happened to me today. For the last little while, we know that food has slowly been getting lower around here. And I got to be honest, with all of the uproar, I have really hesitated going to the grocery store. I have been watching the news and I have been seeing how things have been transpired, especially with all of the toilet paper disappearing. And man, I did not want to go to the store. And there was a lot of reasons for that. The first one is, man, I was kind of scared. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how many people were going to be there. I honestly didn't want to face the reality of what I might see when I got there. So we woke up this morning after talking about possibly going to the store last night, and Erica said we really need to do that. So 5:30 rolls around. I know Walmart has shifted their hours a little bit now. They're open from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. So I wanted to make sure that I was right there at 6 a.m. And we had this conversation about going. Well, right before I was about to leave, Brogan woke up early, and about 5:30, he runs into my room and he said, "Where are you going, Dad?" I said, "Well, I'm going to try and get us some food today." And if you know my kids at all, they are super, super picky when it comes to eating, what they are willing to eat, what they're not willing to eat. So I said, "Brogan, I'm going to the store. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get exactly what you like, but we're going to do our best just to see what's there. And despite what we get, we're just going to thank God for whatever it is that we're able to have." And he said, "It's okay, Dad. For those of you that don't know, we live on a farm and we have a lot of chickens." He said, "It's okay if we just have to eat eggs for a while." And so I said, "Okay, buddy, that's okay. We'll see what we can get." So I head out to the store, and I gotta tell you, as I was getting closer to Portage, I could see the lights because it was still dark out, and I got this feeling in the pit of my stomach, this almost anxiety. I don't know what I'm going to expect. I don't know what I'm going to see when I get there. I mean, we can see these movies where it's like this apocalyptic type scenarios, and I was just fully expecting that in my gut. And so I got there and they weren't open yet. And finally they let us in the doors. And I went in, and as I first went in, I was pleasantly surprised because there was still fruit and stuff out on the fruit area. And then I started going back, and the further back I went, the more and more things started, my reality in my mind started to become true. I went through the pasta aisle, and there was no pasta left. I think I got the last can of pasta sauce that was left there, and a couple cans of tomato soup, and that was about it for that entire aisle. And as I'm walking through and I'm looking at these aisles that are empty, I'm seeing people that are still hoarding toilet paper. I'm like, man, we are running out of food and you are after the toilet paper. It was crazy, this whole reality, to be able to say, wow, this is a real thing. So I got the stuff that I could get. Now, mind you, it was not normal stuff that we would eat. I got stuff that was left. Maybe it wasn't the right brand. And the whole time in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I got to get stuff that the kids are going to be willing to eat. So I got home with my little load of groceries, and I put it up on the counter. And the first thing I said to Brogan is, "Brogan, look at what God was able to provide for us." Because that was our whole thing before we went, is we're going to see what God's going to give us today. So I came home, and he was just, I couldn't believe it. He was so excited with everything that I was able to bring. He was so happy. It didn't matter what it was, whether he liked it or not. He said, "Awesome, Dad, that is so cool." And he was so excited to see what it is that we were able to bring home. So I got the food. Again, it wasn't what we normally would eat, but he was super pumped. Well, as my day progressed, I've been watching Facebook a lot, and my really good friend Dwight posted a post. And on that post, he said, "Have you asked God to share with you his perspective on how this disease and this whole situation and the effects and maybe some of the things that God is trying to show you?" He said something to that effect. And it really began to make me think, okay, God, I know that for a lot of us, the initial gut reaction is fear. And so our prayer is, God, please help me. I need help right now. What can you do for me? God, would you save me from this? God, would you make this all go away? God, would you just help all the sickness? And those are all great prayers. But as I began to think about what he wrote, it made me begin to think even deeper. God, what are you trying to tell us through this? Not that you caused this to happen, but what good can you bring out of this? That maybe it's a lesson that we could learn as you continue to shape us and mold us. Essentially, God, how can you take this situation that we're facing and use it as a teachable moment for us to draw closer to you? And almost as soon as I asked that, it popped into my head, trust. Are we truly trusting God through all of this? Are we truly being thankful for the things that we do have and are still able to have? I got to tell you, when I came home and as I was driving home from Walmart this morning with my tiny little load of groceries, it brought this whole new perspective of being thankful. I mean, we can go to Walmart on a regular day when none of this is happening and get basically whatever we want, come home, make a meal, and not really think anything about it. We just, we might say grace before meals, but other than that, are we really truly thankful, and are we really truly trusting God as our provider for those things, or have we taken it for granted? So when I came home with this tiny little bag of groceries, I'm thinking to myself, wow, God, thank you for providing for me this need right now. And as we prayed before meals, I'm thinking, wow, what a privilege it is to have what we actually do have. God, you provided for us. It might not be exactly what we wanted, but you provided for us exactly what we needed. And it brought me to this scripture from the book of Exodus. I'll give you a little bit of a backstory on this. Basically, the nation of Israel had been captive in Egypt for hundreds of years. And all of a sudden, God comes and he frees them from this slavery that they have been living in for the past hundreds of years. And so they're freed. They're wandering around in this desert. And despite the fact that they're freed, all of the people start grumbling. They're starting to get angry. God, this isn't how we expected it to be. You're supposed to do this for us. You're supposed to provide for us. You're supposed to give us everything that we thought that we would. There was a point where they even said, we wish that we would have been back in Egypt, because if we were back in Egypt, at least we would have been able to sit and have food like we wanted to. We would have been able to sit with pots of food to be able to eat. And so God, he listens to them. He listens to their grumbling. So that's sort of the backstory. And this is how he responds. So Exodus chapter 16, starting in verse 11, this is what it says. It says, the Lord said to Moses, I've heard the grumbling of the Israelites. We kind of grumble sometimes when we don't get what we want, don't we? Or when we don't think things are right. So this is God's response. I have heard the grumbling of the Israelites. Tell them at twilight you will eat meat, and in the morning you will be filled with bread. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God. That evening quail came, covered the camp, and in the morning there was a layer of dew around the camp. When the dew was gone, thin flakes like frost on the ground appeared on the desert floor. When the Israelites saw it, they said to each other, what is it? For they didn't know what it was. Moses said to them, it's bread that the Lord has given you to eat. This is what the Lord has commanded. Everyone is to gather as much as they need. Take an omer for each person you have in your tent. So the Israelites did as they were told. Some gathered much, some little. And when they measured it by the omer, the one who gathered much did not have too much, and the one who gathered little did not have too little. Everyone had gathered just as much as they needed. Then Moses said to them, no one is to keep anything until morning. So basically, God was saying, take what you need. You have abundance. I will give you everything that you need. Just take exactly what it is that you need. Nothing more, nothing less, what you can handle. And then following up, it says, verse 19, then Moses said to them, no one is to keep any of it till morning. Verse 20, however, some of them paid no attention to Moses. They kept part of it until morning. But when they woke up, it was full of maggots and it began to smell. So Moses was angry with them. You know, I'm thinking about that visual of going to Walmart this morning and how there was nothing left for people that really needed it because so many people had taken so much more than they actually needed. And in a result, it was affecting everybody else. And I think the reason that so many people were doing that, I'm not putting fault on anybody if you've done that, is that as a whole, I feel like maybe there's a lack of trust that God truly is in control and that he truly will provide for us in this time. I mean, it's so easy to have a sense of panic when we are out of control. But those are the times when we have to trust that God still is above all of this, that he still is in control. So as we sort of bring our time to a close tonight, this is what I want to challenge you to do. I want to challenge you to create either a video on your own, could be 30 seconds, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be a lot, or it could even be a picture. And on top of that picture, I want you to post, this is how God is providing for me. This is how God is providing for me. And as we do that, we begin to see that despite the fact that it feels like we're out of control, that God still is in control, that we can trust him because he's continually providing for us even the basic necessities that we have. So that is my challenge to you. Just post a little video snippet or on Facebook or post a picture with the title, this is how God is providing for me. And let's just make a wave across social media, showing them that despite the fear that's going on, that God truly is in control and that we can trust him. I don't know how many of you out there have seen it, but after we were talking about this and I kind of shared this idea with my son Brogan, he said, Dad, can I make a video? So he kind of led the pack for us earlier today, and he posted a video of all of the things that he was thankful for and how God provided for him today. So that's my challenge for you today. I hope that you guys are all doing well. Again, if there's anything that you need, we are here for you. If you leave me a private message through here because you need errands run for you or you need some prayer, we would love to do that. We would love to stay connected with you and help you in any way that we can. Well, that's it for today. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great night.